Let's work through some examples in 2.4. So to begin with, we need to translate this into an equation. So it says the sum, so we're going to be adding 3 times a number. So times means multiply, so 3 times a number. We don't know what that number is. So 3 times, we can use X or any letter to represent that number. And 1. So we're summing 3x and 1. So 3x plus 1 is equal to, so put the equal symbol in, and then 2 times the number. So 2 times whatever our number is. So now we just need to solve this equation. So we get the x is on one side. If it doesn't have an x, let's get it on the other side. So it doesn't matter which side is which. I'm going to get the x's on the right side this time. Notice if we were to take this off of the left side and put it on the other side, our constant would be by itself and all of our x's would be on one side. So how do we do that? If we want this 3x term to go away, we have to think about it's positive now. So to make it go away, we have to do the opposite, which would be to subtract. So subtract 3x from both sides. Now 3x minus 3x is 0. Bring down our 1. On the other side, 2 minus 3x, or 2x minus 3x, so we're going to be left with some x's, and to find out how many, we need to do 2 minus 3. Those have opposite signs, so subtract the numbers. Subtract the numbers. Take the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is negative, so it's negative. So we have our constant on one side, the number that doesn't have an x, and we have our variable on the other side. Now to get x by itself, we need to get rid of that negative 1. So the opposite of multiplying is to divide. So instead of multiplying by negative 1, we're going to divide both sides by negative 1. So negative 1 over negative 1 cancel each other out because anything divided by itself makes 1. So on the left side, we're left with 1x or just x. On the left side, positive over negative makes a negative. 1 over 1 makes 1. So let's be careful. Since this coefficient is a negative 1, we're going to put not just a 1, but a negative 1 on bottom. Because if we just put a positive 1 on bottom, a negative over a positive would still leave us a negative. But if we put a negative on bottom, a negative over a negative makes a positive. So we're just left with a positive 1x or just x. All right, so they give us another equation in words. So we have to first translate it into symbols. So twice the sum of negative 4 and a number. So the sum means add, negative 4 and a number. So negative 4 and the number added together is this. We want twice that. So how do you get twice something? You double it, and how do you double it? You multiply it times 2. So we need to take that and multiply it times 2. Now we have to be careful because if we write that as 12 times negative 4 plus x, order of operation is only going to have the negative 4 multiplied times 2. But we're wanting to double everything inside that rectangle. So to double all of that, we're going to put a parenthesis around the negative 4 plus x. So whatever is inside that parenthesis, we're doubling it. We're multiplying it times 2. is the same as, that's another way of saying equals, the number, which we don't know what the number is, decreased by 1/2. So if we're decreasing something, we're taking away, and 1/2 here is what we're taking away. So that's our equation written into symbols instead of just words. All right, so we could do this in a couple ways. We could get rid of our parentheses first, or we could get rid of our fraction first. Our list of steps that we've done in the past said to get rid of the fractions first. So the only denominator we have is a 2. So the opposite of dividing by 2 is to multiply by 2. So we're going to multiply the left side by 2 and multiply the right side by 2. So let's do the right side first. We have 2 terms here, so we have to distribute. We do 2 times the first one, and then we do 2 times the second one. So 2 times that one, 2 times that one. So that gives us 2x minus, when we multiply here, we can put a 1 on bottom, so to remind us that the first 2 is on top. That 2 and that 2 cancel. So we're just left with 1 over 1, or just 1. That's the right side. Now the left side, part of our question is, well, do we distribute? Notice we have 2 times a parenthesis. Distributing is for when we have things that are added together and a product out front. Here we have a product, and then that's times 2. If we have 3 things multiplied together, it doesn't matter the order we multiply them. So the associative property says we could group these together first. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then we could multiply that times -4 plus x. So to get rid of the parentheses, we distribute. So 4 times -4, well, a +4 times a -4 is negative. And 4 times 4 is 16. And then 4 times x is 4x. So we made our fractions go away, and then we made our parentheses go away. So then we want to, neither side simplifies. Those are not alike. Those are not alike, so we can't combine any like terms right now. So then we want to collect all of our variables on the same side. So let's get our x's on the left, which means we want to get rid of any x that's on the right. So we want to get rid of the x's there. So the opposite of adding 2x is to take away 2x. We have to do that on both sides. So the left side, bring down our constant, and then 4x, take away 2x. Well, 4 minus 2 is 2, so 2x. On the other side, 2x minus 2x, 2 minus 2 is 0, so no x's. Bring down the 1. So we've collected our x terms on the left. Now, if it doesn't have an x, get it to the other side. So the first term doesn't have an x. So the opposite of a -16 would be a +16. So -16 plus 16 cancel. Bring down the 2x. And for these, notice they have opposite signs. One's negative, one's positive. Opposite signs we subtract. So subtract the numbers. Take the sign of the bigger number. So the bigger number is positive, so take the positive. Now that we have the x's on the left, the constants on the right, then to get rid of the 2, divide both sides by 2. So that a 2 on top and a 2 on bottom cancel. Again, anything over itself makes 1. So that leaves us with 1x, or just call that x, is 15 over 2. And we can leave it like that. We do not have to make that a mixed number. So 15 over 2. All right, so the first one, they just gave us an equation in words. Now they're going to give us kind of an application. So it says we have a 20-inch board. So let's draw a 20-inch board. So I'm just going to draw a board. And I'm going to label that that's 20 inches long from one end to the other. And it's going to be cut into 3 pieces. So I'm not going to necessarily make these to scale. I'm just going to put marks so that there are 3 pieces. So it says the second piece is 4 times as long as the first. The third piece, so let me underline this. The third piece is 5 times as long as the first. They say let X represent the first board. So if this length is X, the first board, the second one is 4 times as long. 4 times means 4 multiplied by the length of the first. Well, the length of the first, we don't know how long it is, so we call it X. The next board is 5 times as long. So 5 times the length of the first. And the length of the first, we don't know that length, so we call it X. So if we call this length, we don't know it. The next one is 4 times that. The other one is 5 times that. So then how do we make that into an equation? Well, what do we know? We know that our board to begin with is 20 inches. So if I measure from here all the way to the other end, that's 20 inches. Well, if I know the length of each piece, if I take this length plus that length plus that length, we have a total of 20. Total typically means to add. So the first length plus the second one plus the third one, when we combine all 3 pieces, that should make 20 inches. Now we're leaving off the fact that when you cut, you're usually going to have some kind of saw blade that takes away part of your wood. But we're just going to assume that we can cut it, split it into 3 boards without losing anything. So when we add our boards together, we get a total length of 20. There are no fractions to combine, no parentheses. So simplify each side. Well, on the left side, all of these are like terms. We have 1x, and then we get 4 more. Well, 1 plus 4 is 5. Then when we combine that with the last one, 5 plus 5 is 10. So all of those are x's to the first, so they are like terms. 1 plus 4 plus 5 is 10. On the other side, we just have 1 term. Now to get the x by itself, the opposite of multiplying by 10 would be to divide by 10. So the 10's cancel. 20 divided by 10 is 2. And the units on that are inches. If we wanted to check that, the first board would be 2 inches. The second board would be 4 times as long, so 4 times 2 would be 8 inches. The last board is 5 times as long, so 5 times 2 would be 10 inches. If we add those, 2 plus 8 plus 10. 2 plus 8 is 10, so 0, carry your 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, so yes, if we add those three boards together, it does make 20 inches. So if it says, what are the length of all the pieces? One's 2, the second one is 8, the third one is 10. All right, so this one talks about 3 consecutive odd integers. 3 consecutive odd integers. So let's think about what odd numbers are. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and so forth. So if we start on 1, to get to the next odd number, we've added 2. 1, skip 1, skip 2. And then the next number is 3. 3, skip the next number, then 5. So to get from 3 to 5, we add 2. To get from 5 to 7, we add 2. To get from 7 to 9, we add 2. So to get from any odd number to the next odd number, you just add 2 to it. The next odd number is 2 more than the current number. If we only added 1, if I add 1 to 1, I get 2. If I add 1 to 2, I get 3. If I add 1 to 3, we get 4. Add 1 to 4, we get 5. So if we're only adding 1 each time, those are consecutive numbers, but they're not all odd. So to get consecutive odd numbers, we start with one number, add 2 so that it skips the one in the middle, the even one, and gets to the odd one. So we don't know what the first number is. So let's call the first number x. So the next number would be 2 more. 2 more than what? Well, we don't know what number we're adding 2 more. We just know that the first number we're calling x, so 2 more than that would be x plus 2. The third number is the next odd number. So if this is the first and this is the second one, the third one is 2 more than this. 2 more than the second one. So if the second odd number is x plus 2, 2 more than that would be plus 2 more, or we could call that x plus 4. You notice if we add 2 to this number, we get 7, but if we add 4 to it, we get 9. We get the third number. So if this is the first number, the first odd number, the next odd number is 2 more. The next odd number is 2 more than that, or 4 more than the first one. So it says these 3 numbers have a sum of 99. So when we add the first number plus the second number plus the third number, that totals 99. Since there's only a plus in front of the parentheses and not a number or a negative, we can drop our parentheses. So we're adding x plus 2, we're adding x plus 4. So if we combine what's alike, we can change the order if we want to. So we have an x plus an x plus an x, and then a 2 plus 4. So x plus x plus x is 3x. 2 plus 4 is 6. So we've combined the like terms. There are no fractions, no parentheses. So to get the x term by itself, take away 6 on both sides. So 3x is 99 minus 6. So 9 minus 6 is 3. Bring down your 9. To get the x by itself, divide both sides by 3. So that the 3's cancel. And then 93 divided by 3. 3 goes into 9. 3 goes into 3. No remainder. So x is 31. X is 31. Now, what does that even mean? Well, notice we made good notes up here. We listed what x stood for. X is the first odd number in this list. X is the first odd number in this list. The second odd number is that x plus 2. So 31 plus 2, or 33. The third number is that x plus 4, which is 35. So notice 31, 33, 35, those are consecutive odd numbers. One odd number after the other after the other. And if you were to add those, they would make 99. Well, let's look at one more. 3/4 of a number is 5/8. So 3/4. Typically when we see of, that means multiply a number. We don't know what that number is. So x equals 5/8. So that's our equation. So we want to get x by itself. So the opposite of multiplying is to divide. Divide. So anything over itself makes 1. So that leaves us with 1x, or just x. And when we're dividing by fractions, 5/8 divided by 3/4. Remember, the way we do that is we keep, change, flip. Keep the first one, multiply, and flip the second one. Now it's just a matter of multiplying and simplifying. So we can multiply first and then simplify, or notice we have a 4 on top and 8 on bottom. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 8 2 times. So on top, we're left with 5 times 1. On bottom, we have 2 times 3. And we have x by itself.